Let's talk about Belgium. Let's see how well they're doing in their leftist country. So now they have around 11 million people. As you can see, this graph growing rate is pretty much all over the place, but overall they seems to be on the up trajectory with their country. Now, very interesting is in 1955 only 8.8 million people, and now 2025 11.7, and in the future it's gonna be 11.8. So we're gonna see a very small increase, and then you can see by 2050 it's gonna go down in population. Probably it's gonna happen much faster, but the interesting thing here is migration, because Belgium, if you don't know, is pretty much the home of the European Union, I would say, and migration is pretty much very high on their policies, I would say. But you can see not a huge one, I will add, but in 2022 you can see a lot of people coming there, and also some 2020 2010. But in the future it looks like they kind of stabilize around 25,000 people, and with all that you can see pretty much it's a replacement population. Let's see from where it started. Probably by 2024 you have more migrants, not even 2022 have more migrants than native population. So clearly they are on the, in some other years they are on a trajectory of just pretty much replacing the native population of Belgium with migrants. Doesn't matter where they come, you just replace them as much as possible as you can. And in 1955 the median wage was 33 years old. Now it's 41, 42 years old, and in the future it's going to be 45. So not a huge increase, I would say. Fertility rate, look at this. It is pretty much down. Well, it got below replacement. 1975 it got below replacement, and they pretty much continue the trajectory. And I think those high numbers of fertility rate are due to migration and not from the native population. And you pretty much going to continue to go down. Probably by 2050 is going to be under 1, I would say. Depends on the migration. Even now European Union still try to push those migrants policy. Even they kind of calmed down in recent months, or I would say recent last 2 years at least. When the COVID started, then we're gonna see that moving in the right movement in the European countries, especially in the European Union. And it seems like it's gonna be on the end of migration, at least mass migration in European countries, probably in the next 5 years. So that's what I said. Those numbers probably gonna go down much faster. This one obviously is gonna go down, but it depends again. If you stop migration and you make pretty much less available people, the human resource is not going to be that available. Usually you increase the price, so you're going to have much better wages and benefits. So you're going to see how that's going to play, because right now when you have migration and you have pretty much cheap labor, the humans are pretty much a resource, and they're a cheap, very cheap one. So there is no way for someone who has a business to just pretty much give you more money. And let's see with the stop migration how that is going to play in the future. But I'm very interesting to see how exactly the life is going to change, especially if you just not stop migration, because you never can stop 100%, but just reduce it at some normal level, I would say, which is, I think, pretty much everyone agree with that. Belgium is a very small country. We're going to have a map. We're going to look at how they live in the next video. You can see even 1955, 92% of population living in an urban area. Now it's 98.8, and in the future it's going to be pretty much, look at this, in 2030, 99.9. So 100% of the people just living in an urban area. Under world ranking, back then 1955, 43. Now it's 83, and then it's going to be around 92. Probably they go over 100. So yeah, not a huge, I would say, country that's going to make very much impact in the global population. Now with the life expectancy, like it's kind of we expect 82.4%, 82.4 years old. The average person in Belgium. For female it's 84, 85. For males 80, 81. So pretty close one to each other, and it's going on an increased trajectory. Infant mortality rate 2.8, and under death under age of 5. This one infant mortality rate is and anything under 3 is good. 3.3, it's a bit above for such a well-established country, I would say. This pretty much is unacceptable in my opinion, but they're gonna see how they play in the future. Now you're gonna show here, this is a demographic pyramid, I would call it, and you can see how bad I would say it is. And look at this one. One thing interesting is a male surplus. You're gonna have a male surplus until 60 years old. So clearly you need to have some migrants, I would say female migrants for those males, or just those males just leaving the country to just pretty much find someone else abroad, because clearly in the country it's not a 50-50 ratio. Now here in population, you're gonna see 11.7 million. Females, like I said, the life expectancy is pretty much the same. 1.47 this side declared, and we have here 1.39, so a bit differences between them. Now you're gonna see how those people is gonna live, like I say, in the future. But judging by this pyramid right here, it's not gonna do very well. I would say very well. It's good to just have a, let's say, less migration with less population, but keep in mind, like I say, Belgium is a small country. I'm gonna look immediately how they actually live, and I don't think it's something very remarkable about living in one of those countries for your entire life, especially if you want to go there just to live for a few years. Probably it's gonna be a nice experience. Otherwise, I don't think so. But in timeline, let's say the civilization, you can see it's pretty much again a new. It's a European one, but I would say not a very old one. Right here we have the Roman Empire. It used to be part of it, and we're gonna look at like when you have the first country of Flanders. So that you can say pretty much the first Belgium civilization, let's call it like that. And you're gonna see when then actually they came along. So yeah, Kingdom of the Belgium in 1831. They have some colony in Africa, I think. I don't remember exactly when. Probably in Congo, if I don't mistaken. Let me check real quick. I know they have some colonies here, but I don't remember which one was. They treat those, yeah, Belgian Congo, yeah, that was the colony. They didn't treat them that well, so that was a huge problem for them. Then in 1943, the Nazi pretty much got them here, and you can see German, Netherlands, and Kingdom of Belgium still remain, but was under German occupation. Yeah, and now in the present, it's pretty much this part right here is pretty much unchanged from 1831, let's say. So yeah, not a huge country. We're gonna look at that immediately to see exactly how those people live with Google Earth and Street View. But overall, I think it's one of those nice countries, I would call it. They have great chocolate, probably better than Switzerland. But still, with Belgium, it's pretty weird, I would say, because they allow a lot of migration. It's sometimes, look at this, just what year was this one? 2010. Okay, so in 2010, how many migrants they have? 105. And keep in mind, it's not a huge country, and most of them are living in almost all of them living in urban areas. So you're gonna have to, let's say, confront them every day. But overall, Belgium is not a country, I would say. I mean, we got yesterday New Zealand, so you don't even can compare those countries to. You just, if we're gonna look immediately at them, and just probably just so much difference between them about living standards. And when I say living standards, I don't say just how well the system that are in place. There is just pretty much the geography and the architecture of the cities, and also more important than country itself, because we saw how well this New Zealanders actually live. But we're gonna look in a second in a Belgium. But yeah, overall, it's a Western country. It's very advanced, I would say. So yeah, if you're living there, it's not the worst place to live, obviously. But let's see how they done with the Brussels policies, and also let's see how they manage the migration. Probably they just scaled down. I would say 26,000 people are, I would say, a bit too high. I'm probably gonna keep in mind those are per year, so I would say 10,000 people per year should be more than enough. And then keep in mind, even with that 10,000, you're gonna start replacing the population year by year. So now you already replaced it, and probably again because that's such a low fertility rate for such a long. Even in those net changes, they say those are new migrants in that year. So migrants that are already there, then they have their first child or 2, 3, it depends how they have. They're gonna be counted as native, which they are not. So probably the native Belgian population, it's actually much lower than this. Clearly, they need. I will surprise there'll be just half of them remain as a native population there. Let's say from with the 6th generation living in Belgium. And probably they were gonna be replaced by the end of the century. 100%. You're not gonna see. Probably gonna see like how much? 10% of the native families in Belgium. So they are already getting replaced with migrants all over the world. So we're gonna see how that is gonna play with them. But overall, yeah, still a decent country to live, I would say.